Kirby Woods. I am in Dr. Moody's Intro to Technology class, AEP 800 for fall of 2011. This is my critical thinking presentation. Critical thinking is the ability to analyze, to interpret, to evaluate, to infer, to explain, and to self-regulate. Critical thinking is the ability to make good decisions and to clearly explain the foundation for those decisions. The critical thinking process can be defined as follows. Students must review their content for understanding as well as clarify the problem. They must compile everything that they know about the topic and try to include even the smallest of details. Next, students should be expected to analyze this material that they have gathered. They should organize the material into categories by finding relationships among all the pieces. The next step would be to synthesize answers about the gathered material. Students should decide why something is significant and how it can be applied. They may also decide that some material is insignificant and does not need to be included in this process. Finally, students should be asked to evaluate their decision-making process. How can teachers support critical thinking? Teachers can encourage students to locate sources both online and offline. Teachers should support information structuring by modeling graphic organizers, for example. They should also assist students when trying to compare their information from their various sources. Teachers should allow ample reflection time through various means such as writing, speaking, or even drawing. Teachers should use real experiences and materials to make this information meaningful to their students. And they should involve students in the creating of questions and assessments that will be involved. During the critical thinking process, students should use technology for various reasons. They should use technology to learn how to judge source credibility, to ask clarifying questions, to be open-minded and well-informed about a topic, to identify conclusions, reasons, and assumptions, and also to plan, conduct, and judge experiments. These processes are part of the higher-order thinking skills. They also include creative thinking and problem solving. Some technology sources that teachers might want to explore to help use critical thinking in their classroom are Reasonable. Reasonable is a software package. It provides scaffolds for students who are trying to answer a question or prove a claim. Reasonable has an animated Socrates who pops up and asks students questions about the claims, reasons, and objections that they put into the software program. Microsoft is a spreadsheet. It's a table that consists of cells. The students can input data into the cells that will generate relationships between the cells, and these relationships are known as formulas. Athena is a reasoning and argument mapping software, and this is intended for higher education students and also to students in the upper secondary because it's a little more difficult to use, so it wouldn't be appropriate for elementary age students. KidSkills is intended for students ages 7 to 13. It's a free software package. It is divided into sections and has 5 different activities for planning critical thinking projects. It starts with, you have your project planner, a getting information section, a big picture card, a working together section, and then finally an overall project evaluation section. CMAP is an easy-to-learn software program intended for ages 3rd grade and up. The user inputs text into a screen and the shape appears. You can change the color of the graphics and the text to show different categories of reasoning, such as you could color coordinate your objections, reasons, and claims. And this can be downloaded at cmap.ihmc.us. BrainCogs is a CD-ROM-based strategy program which helps students to learn, reflect, and use specific strategies across a variety of contexts. The software is also accompanied by a video, posters, and other resources to scaffold learning for diverse learners. This can be located at www.fablevision.com. Mission Critical is a web-based tool which provides information and quizzes on critical thinking. It's intended for college-age students, although they can be simplified and well explained to be accompanied at a number of different grade levels. WebLearner is also intended for college-level students, but can be useful for upper secondary. It requires advanced reading skills. It teaches the user to identify an argument, an explanation, or neither, and to logically conclude a statement or paragraph and to evaluate language in an argument. Choices, Taking Responsibility is a Tom Snyder production. It helps students in grades K through 4 to work through the 5-step critical thinking process. 1 being understand your situation, 2 set your goals, 3 talk about your options, 4 make a choice, and then 5 think about the consequences. This is used on a single computer and facilitated by the teacher. Finally, Internet for Classrooms is a technology integrated lesson plan page that allows for critical thinking in a laid out process with several steps where, for example, the students might gather information, then they would enter data into an Excel spreadsheet, then they might visit an online source to help back up their claim on the information they gathered, and then they would use something like Microsoft Word to type a paragraph reflection on what they learned. All the lesson plans are broke down into steps. Day by day, it's very scaffolded and easy to use for the teacher. All information from this program was through the Supporting Learning Through Technology textbook used in this class, and it's by Joy Egbert, and it's the 2009 edition.
I also have a sample lesson that I wanted to show on critical thinking that I have recently used. It is called Laying the Track. In this, students have to plan, conduct, and judge an experiment to try to successfully use 4 pink standard erasers, 10 sets of standard staples, and a marble. And they are to design a track that they can roll their marble down to successfully land in a solo cup placed on the floor beneath the table. They were also given 2 textbooks in case they wanted to prop the legs of the table. The students they had 3 chances to try to make a successful run. Each time that they did a run, they had to take a picture using photo booth on their MacBooks, and then we used Inspiration, which is uploaded already. It's a software program on all the student machines, and they used a right tree graphic organizer where they would insert these pictures into Inspiration, and then they had to answer 3 questions about each picture. Did that track work, yes or no? What went wrong if it didn't work? And then what changes do you propose you can make before the next trial run in order to experience success? The students used critical thinking because they had to evaluate results and explain their changes. As a teacher, I supported critical thinking by using the graphic organizer and then also allowing reflection later through the class blog and through group discussions. I do want to also show, here's a sample kind of what the right tree diagram that we used in Inspiration. They put each image and then they had to answer the 3 questions for each image. Did it work? What happened if it didn't work, and what might you do differently? If they had a successful track, then they had to explain their new track that they would build to try to have 2, possibly 3 successful tracks. So that's my sample for a critical thinking lesson, and thank you for listening to my presentation.